Hi guys! Welcome back to another episode of our live season. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the stories that we hold on to and the stories that we tell ourselves. So basically, I feel like for everyone, these are the stories that has been living in our mind for the past many years or however long that you have lived. If you're 23, probably for the past 20 years of your life or even more than that. Basically, it's I feel like especially for myself, it's the story that told myself for a very very long time. We all have this version of our stories that we tell ourselves that becomes an excuse for not chasing after certain things. So to give you guys a little context, this podcast episode is actually inspired by one of the recent incidents that okay, not incident but a recent event in my life. So for those of you that don't know, I do have a second account. I have multiple accounts actually, but one of the account is called An Honest Entry. So An Honest Entry is really like this podcast, a lot on like mindset, motivational stuff, but in forms of like words, in forms of quotes. So these are the reason why I started this podcast, and not this podcast. The reason why I started that account was basically to remind myself of the things that I learned in life. It's just to give myself like some sort of motivation and encouragement. So I actually started that I think at the start of this year before this podcast. So yeah, that's kind of like the backstory of having this account. So I actually posted one of the entries which I call like the post. I've been posting I think over 100 posts, and then it becomes like like second nature to me where I just post things that I feel like it that day, that morning, and then I just let it be. I don't really go and look into like the statistics and analytics and stuff like that. So I think last week Monday I had the shock, like the biggest shock of my life, because as per usual, I was gonna post like the post in the morning. I went in the TikTok account of An Honest Entry, and I was blown away by the amount of notifications that I was getting, because I turned off the notification for TikTok on my phone, so I don't really receive that. And when I opened it to post the TikTok post that day, I was so shocked because that post was literally like blowing up in a sense, because An Honest Entry post has never gone past like, I think the highest it reached was 12 point something k um plays on Instagram, but not on TikTok. So it has always been ranging around like 100 plus 200 300 views and plays. So that day itself, I started receiving a lot of comments and follows from that post. Okay, so I just want to kind of quickly read out what the post is about and then move on to the story part of things. Okay, so I have my iPad here with me because I just need to refer to what I wrote. So the post uh quote is actually this: the best advice I've received at age 24. You're only 24. Why are you pressuring yourself to act like a 30 something? You don't have a family to feed, you don't have commitments. Go out there and explore. Do the thing that has been bugging you but too scared to chase. Okay. So, probably like majority of the people that was reading this post, I know there will be people that start to wonder like, yeah, good for you. You don't have commitments. Like you start to think that I think this what I want to say is that this post was taken out of context. Okay, like every single comment was commenting on how like they have commitments, they have family to feed, they have siblings, and they guess that this advice wasn't for them. This advice, I wrote this because I needed to hear that. I wrote this because I remembered someone telling me that, why are you rushing to get to, a certain destination in life? Because I was always someone that was rushing to get somewhere. I'm always someone that is so impatient, that is just, like I want things to work out my way and it can only happen my way. I think I kind of talked about this in a lot of podcast episodes before, that I have a very rigid mindset when it comes to how I want life to be, or how I want, you can hear my dog like he's screaming. But anyways, like envision life to be a certain way. I envision life to look and feel a certain way, I guess. But for the longest period of time, I'm like that. I'm someone that can't stand when things don't go my way. I would be so upset with myself because I hold myself to very high standards, and when things don't go my way, I would see it as failure. And that was a very, very, very like big part of me that I was struggling with like back then. I mean back then as in few years back, until I started being in the whole like self-care and the whole mindfulness, self-development, like what's that called? Industry, or like, yeah, just that whole path and everything. And then I realized that it's okay to take things a little slow, right? So before that, I was someone that was constantly chasing after something. I don't know what I was chasing after, but yeah, I was just constantly in this go 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 mentality, this do mentality. And someone came up to me and told me that you sometimes you gotta just slow down. You gotta just slow down to understand that what are you rushing for. Because I keep telling myself, or I keep telling people that I feel like I don't have enough time. I'm like, oh, I'm already 24, or I'm already like 22, that I don't have much time left. And I always feel this urge to rush through certain things and rush through the process because I just want to get to the end goal. And I always envision this end goal whereby it's a place where I'll be finally happy, I'll be finally fulfilled. But I can tell you this, that what you really truly enjoy would be the process of getting there. Because when you reach that destination, you can ask a lot of people, they will tell you, especially successful people, they will tell you that when you reach that destination that you thought you'll be happy, you realize that you'll constantly be chasing after more. It's not a place whereby, once you reach there, you'll be happy, you'll be satisfied. Yes, there is some sort of fulfillment and satisfaction, but it's not enough. Like, you will always feel like it's not enough unless or until you change your mind to not look at the outcome but also enjoy the process. So that's one thing that I've actually learned a lot throughout my journey in life, and I just want to share, and I feel like it's important to share because all the comments that was going on in this post was insane. Like, the first thought that came to mind when I read those comments was that I could understand why they would take it in a different way, why they would take it out of context. Because honestly, within that few like I think two paragraphs, there wasn't much context. And I just feel like I want to talk about this in a podcast episode whereby perhaps a lot of people, or even some of you, may be looking at that post and be like, yeah, she's so entitled. Like, not everyone is like that. Like, yeah, you come from a rich family, I don't. I come from a middle class family. Yes, I do understand that there are families, or there are people out there who have a lot of commitments, who have bigger responsibilities, right? But what I'm trying to say in the post is that don't use that as an excuse to not chase after the things that you want to do. Because what I always hear and what I used to tell myself is that, oh, because of XYZ, I won't be able to chase after my dreams. Because I have this, that, I can't. I just can't. And it's very easy for us to just sit there and look at our dreams and our desires and feel it, but the mind tell ourselves that, oh, because you're in this situation, you can't do it. I think I come to a point whereby I was sick and tired of giving myself excuses. I was sick and tired of sitting there and not allowing myself to go after what I want to go after and what my heart truly desire because of the excuses in the story that I've been holding on to. Okay, so I realized, so I took the time to really pour out like so much love and care for the people that have commitments, because I know I'm really lucky to not be having commitments like taking care of my parents because they are not able to work, right? My parents are still working, and I come from a family whereby I don't get things easy, but I have a roof over my head. I don't have to worry about food not being served on the table and stuff like that. So I am very aware of how lucky I am. I'm very grateful, but at the same time, I think what I want to send out, the message that I want to send out to the people who are commenting like, oh, but I don't have time, I guess this advice isn't for me, is that I show so much respect and love for you, but I just want you to know, and I think educate you on how our minds are so 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 powerful, that literally with just a shift of mentality and just with a shift of certain words and your perspective of life, you'll be able to change so much in terms of how it's interesting. Because you would start to realize that your actions actually creates your reality, right? But you go back a step further, it actually starts from the words that you're telling yourself, the story that you're telling yourself, the thoughts that you're constantly having on a day-to-day basis. Because we oftentimes we kind of get really comfortable with life and with the mindset things that we're telling ourselves, with the I think with the things that we feed our minds constantly, and it becomes a habit, right? It becomes we go on autopilot where we don't really think about what we're thinking. We don't really take into account what we're thinking on a day-to-day basis. We just let it flow. So if you find yourself, being in this negative loop, or just in this loop of I can't do this, I can't do that, like why is life being so unfair? Why do I see people living their best life, and then here I am just suffering? Why is it me? Why me? I used to have this mindset of like thinking, oh, if my parents were to be entrepreneurs back then in their age, I wouldn't have to work this hard, or I would have like a easier way, right? And I feel like we constantly want to find this easy way out. And I know that it's a very messed up mindset to have. Looking back at it, to say that like, oh, I could leech off my parents' success, I could leech off my parents' hard work. And I know there are people who are born into wealth, that but you realize that those people, you can sit here and start looking at them and be like, oh, it's so unfair. Like, why do they get that? Like, who are they to be able to live this life? And then why not? Like, why can't I do that? Or why am I not born into a rich family? I think, to be really honest, at any point in time of life, like, we do have, definitely everyone will have this thought that come across our mind, right? And I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's an embarrassing thing to say, or I'm ashamed of it. Like, do I think it's the correct mindset to have? No. But was it a mindset that I had? Yes. So, like, you know I want to be really honest and open with how I felt and how I thought, like, think, like, my whole thought process prior to this year, or prior to last year end, was that I was constantly blaming, or finding someone to blame for my circumstances and outcome. And I feel like this is something that we do subconsciously, and we don't want to see it that way. Because if you think about it, if you were to sit there and tell yourself that you can change your life, or you have the power to change your mindset, to change your life, it means what you're essentially saying is that you need to start taking action, that you need to change. And change is uncomfortable. We don't want to change. We want to stay in our comfort zone. And it's really normal. It's really common. But I feel like the first step is always the most important step, to get out of your comfort zone and start changing. I think this is the thing that we're all so afraid of, and we don't want that to happen because it's uncomfortable. it's it's a territory that we've not stepped in, that we don't know what's there. We don't know what's gonna happen, right? Like, we have a lot of what if, we have a lot of fear in us, which is really normal. And I always like to say this, like, I mean, there are some coaches or people who agree with, like, um remove fear from your life or overcome fear. But I always think that, like, you can never overcome fear. Fear will always be there, because to think about it in a way, right? Like, fear has always helped us feel secure. Because if you are fearless, like, that's the thing, I don't believe you can be fearless. Because if you are fearless, then we will be in danger, because our fear actually helps us to keeps us safe. So what I'm trying to say is that, walk with fear. Think of fear as like a kid at the back seat of the car, right? Like, you are on your way to this destination, and fear will always be at the back, whining and crying and warning you about, oh, do you think it's a good idea? Like, they will start doubting, right? But I think what's most important is to know and tell yourself that, look fear in the eye, and tell yourself that, look, I am gonna be the one that is behind the wheel. I respect and I understand your concerns. I appreciate that for trying to keep me safe, but I respectfully tell you to just stay at the back, and I'll be the one driving. Like, your heart, my heart, and me will be the one that is behind the wheel, right? To get us to the destination. Because I feel like when you start being really comfortable with yourself, fear will always come up here and then. But when you train fear to just shut up and sit at the back and just enjoy the process and the journey, it's when you really start to live life. That's when you really start to focus on, like, the environment that is, like, the whole scenery that you are actually experiencing. You start to enjoy life a little more. You start to slow down, take it all in, enjoy the process. I think that's the most important part, because we are always constantly, like I mentioned, trying to get to the end goal, trying to we're so tensed on trying to reach a certain goal by a certain age, by a certain timeline, that fear, like just imagine fear being at the back and yapping and yapping and yapping. You'll just be more pissed off, you'll just be more annoyed, you'll just be so frustrated that everything's just, go downhill. Like you can't really enjoy the ride, you can't really drive properly. Okay, so that's just an analogy. But so when I saw that this post blew up, and so many comments were, on how uh that, I like this, that's the stupidest advice they ever hear, or that's like the worst advice they ever have, or I can ever give. There's one comment that literally said, like, I remember so clearly that I think this is written by a 6-year old, or this advice was given by a 6-year old. And it's so funny because what I replied, like I mentioned, I replied to every single one of the comment. What I replied was that I think we have a lot to learn from a 6-year old. The innocence from a 6-year old, the way a 6-year old views the world, because they have this purity in their mind and this pure, like, view on the world and on certain outcome. It's just amazing. I think we lost that part of ourselves as we were growing up. As we are growing up, we are often, because of society and because of the things that happen to us, I feel like our vision is so blurry, that it's so unpure in a sense, that we are often, afraid. We're often, thinking of things of like the best way possible, of like, uh if I don't get to a certain destination means I failed, right? But a 6-year old, they get what they want. Like they would throw tantrums, they would, I don't know, roll on the floor, they would literally do all that until they get what they want. They will only be satisfied until they get what they want. So I think that there's so much to learn from a 6-year old, especially like the way they view life, right? You would often see them, or even younger than 6-year olds, they would tell you about how, they imagine themselves to be, I don't know, like a prince, a princess, or just dreaming. I feel like that's one thing that we really need to learn from a 6-year old, is the ability to be able to dream fearlessly, because they are really fearless. Right. So as time passes, we grow up and we learn, what we should be careful of. We start to be more cautious in life because of the life lessons that we've learned along our way, which that's good and bad. Right. What I'm essentially saying is that we don't have to throw temper tantrums like a kid, but more of take on the purity view of life, right? To look at life and be like, this is fun. Take it as a game. I think we take it so seriously, especially for me. Like right now, I'm speaking to the past self and be like, you don't have to take life so seriously. Like, honestly, let go. There is so much more to life than just looking at the destination. The destination that, you had in mind might not be the destination that you will truly enjoy or you're meant to be in. Because one thing that I've always believed is that the universe delays are not the universe denials. I always believe that whatever happens to us right now, it's meant to happen. Wherever you're at right now, you're meant to go through it. Whatever situations that you're in, stuck in right now, or that you are facing that you feel like it's impossible for you to get out, there has to be a reason why those challenges or those situations were given to you and not anyone else. Because I believe that whatever that we are given by the universe, whatever situations or obstacles or circumstances that we're in, we're only put in that situation because we have the ability and we have that capability to go through it. Okay, so it's just that we don't trust ourselves enough. So with that mindset, um with that thought in mind, right, I would say that you will realize that you can take on a lot of things. You have more confidence in your ability. You let loose a little more because you know that you'll get through it eventually. Because the one thing that I tell myself every single time I find myself, struggling to let go, I always tell myself this: it's all gonna come to an end. It has to come to an end. Even like heartbreaks, right? When you go through a heartbreak or when you just broke up, you would feel like it's the end of the world. It's very normal. I don't see why people would shame someone for that, for going through a heartbreak or for feeling like, the person is your entire world, because you give so much love to someone. And I feel like we're all loving beings, right? That we love someone so much, even sometimes more than ourselves, that we give a little part of us to them. And when that part is taken away, you and forever, you have this hole in your heart where you need time to heal. And I believe that, when you have this mindset of it's all gonna come to an end, you're gonna heal from it, you actually start taking actions, or you actually start to gear towards the healing side of things, as compared to when you sit there and start mulling over, why it happened, and why is it you, why is it happening to you and not to others. Because trust me, everyone have our own fair share of situations that we've been in, that it's so 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 painful, that you feel like it's the end of the world, that you feel like you're never ever gonna come out of it. But trust me, when you start to really let go of control and allow yourself to heal, to just flow with the peace in life and find that peace within, and love yourself so much that you can give back to the rest, you realize that the people around you start to love you even more. The people around you start to appreciate you, start to respect you, because you prioritize yourself, you prioritize your needs. And when you do that, you would feel so much more satisfied, you will feel so much more fulfilled in life, because you know that you got you. Even if no one else is there for you, you know that you're your biggest supporter, and that's enough. Because we have to live with ourselves. People come and go in our life, and it's totally normal. The person that you have to live with is yourself. And if you can't sit with yourself and find peace within yourself, then I feel like it's really sad. Like it's really, really bad, because you're just, I don't know, like you're born into this, into this physical being, and with this mindset, with this feelings. But if you are so uncomfortable being in this self, who there's no one that can actually help you other than yourself. That's why I say that, our minds can only be controlled by ourselves. Whatever that we choose to take on is our choice. We make decisions every single day, every single minute, every single second. Simple things like, I'm deciding to speak whatever I'm speaking right now. I'm deciding to record this podcast today. I'm deciding to, like sit here and spend my time doing this because it's something that I truly enjoy, right? We are deciding and making decisions every single day. So each decisions do matter. And I feel like, deciding to have an intention, to set an intention to start healing, or to start changing your mindset and looking at things a different way, that's the best that you can do for yourself. And trust me, there is so much more things that you can accomplish. Because at least for me, when I started to open up myself and tell myself that, enough is enough, I don't want to sit here and live life like this. I don't want to sit here and tell myself that, oh, I can't do this because I'm not capable enough. I can't do this because my parents were not um you know entrepreneurs, so means I can't be an entrepreneur. I think this is the thing that I've told myself. This is a story that I've been holding on to for the past 4 years, that because my parents aren't entrepreneurs, or because I wasn't born in a rich family, I can't be an entrepreneur. I can't be rich. I can't be successful. Whatever success looks like for you, right? So right now, what I'm trying to say, like with that post, is that whatever that is sparking the interest in you, whatever that lights you up, whatever that you feel your heart just beats a little bit more, like, or it skips, this is the thing that you should go and chase after. It doesn't matter where you're in, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. I feel like follow this little sparks of interest and this little spark of like joy and excitement. You'll be so much closer to where you want to be. You'll be so much closer to your dream life. Trust me, because this is the reason, like, why we're put on to this earth. Because what might spark interest for you might not spark interest for me, might not spark interest for the rest. And that is the reason why it comes to you. It found you for a reason. And if you don't hold on to that, and if you just sit on it, it's just gonna, disappear. Because I would like to think of everything and anything as like these little sparks, as little beings, right? Like human beings. If you don't like someone, or if you have a friend that is constantly by your side, like poking you and wanting to be friends with you, but you're just ignoring it, would you think that the person would stay for long after trying to, get your attention and stuff like that, poking you? I don't think so. Like anyone else, you get tired, right? You'll be like, oh my god, okay, let's move on. Let's move on to someone else that appreciates me for who I am, that, listens to me, right? We're all like this. And if you think of life this way, everything just makes sense. It becomes so much easier to make decisions, because all these little sparks, I know we are so scared of like this unknown territory, of this whole feeling of like uncertainty and insecurity, and like, just not knowing what or where it's gonna take you. This is when we get stuck, or we just feel like, oh, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go out of my comfort zone. But growth only happens outside of your comfort zone. So if you realize that whenever you grow, whenever you learn a certain lessons, or at least for me, whenever I learn certain things or certain lessons, I've always been pushed out of my comfort zone. And what I realized is that the universe is really funny, because if you choose to not get out of your comfort zone, sooner or later you'll be forced out of your comfort zone, and it's really uncomfortable. But it is what is needed to happen for you to actually start learning, for you to actually grow into, this amazing human being, and to your higher self, your favorite self. Okay, so I feel like that's one thing that I've actually learned a lot in life, and a story that I've choose to let go. I know we've gone a little bit here and there, but today I just felt like, before recording this, I felt so much excitement in my body, that I was like, oh, this is the reason why I do what I do. Because every single time that I feel this, yeah, I just feel like my whole body get chills, and I'm just so excited. My heart like rate is so high. I'm like, the feeling of, it's like a kid in a candy store. Like, you get so excited, or even, when you were younger, knowing that you'll be traveling like the next day, you can't fall asleep. That's exactly how I feel when, before recording this podcast, I know that whatever that I'm gonna be channeling today, it will reach whoever that needs it. I hope that, whoever that is looking at this, watching this, I hope that you gain a thing or two out of this, and I hope that this reaches you at the perfect time. Because um if you're not ready to change, no one can change you. I'm not here to tell you, or this podcast is not here to tell you to change. Because if you don't want to change, that's completely fine, right? Like, we all, like I mentioned, we are all making decisions. If you decide to not agree with whatever that I say, it's totally fine. We all have different opinions, because I don't agree with a lot of things that is taught or told on the internet, on TikTok, wherever. I have my own version of life. I have my own views of life, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is like for me, because we're all trying to figure life out. So I would say that what I want to say is that take this with a pinch of salt, and then live life the way you want it to be. Live life the way that is most exciting for you. Okay, if going back, circling back to the topic of, if you have commitments, and your excuse is that, or your reason is that, I can't commit because of XYZ, I can't commit because I have parents who are relying on me. Like I mentioned, totally understandable. What I want to say is that fill your own cup first. Have like maybe 5 to 10 minutes in a day to sit down and ask yourself, what is it that will really make you feel like a kid again. What is it that is gonna bring out this 6 year old you, this 3 year old you, where you are so excited to wake up every single day. It can be as small as painting, or as small as, I don't know, crocheting, as small as drawing, or as small as designing, whatever it is for you. I No matter how small or big, I want you to know that you can chase after that while having commitments. Okay. And I say this because I know, and I've been speaking to my parents for like, on this topic for like the longest time, where I asked them, because my dad and my mom, they don't grow up in a really affluent family. Especially for my dad, I think he grew up with a single parent. So I know from him, he knows what commitment is like. He's the eldest son, so he needs to go out there and work as soon as he can. I think at the age of 16, when he's legal to start working, he was out there working, um, providing for the family, helping the mom, because he has 5 other siblings. So you can imagine like how tough it is for him. But he made it to where he is today, and he's able to achieve whatever that he has achieved today because of his grit, because of his mentality. Because I spoke to him, I said like, why would you, why would you even dare to dream when you have so much more commitments? What he told me was that the reason he felt like dreaming was everybody's birthright. Like, it's your birthright to have dreams, it's your birthright to chase after your dreams and your desires. I think that was the thing that got me thinking, like, it is all like, it's our birthright. Like, what makes you think that you can't dream because of your circumstances? I think that was the thing that has helped him the most, because he was willing to accept whatever that was coming. He wasn't like sitting there looking at his circumstances and be like, okay, so this is reality, it is what it is. Because one thing you gotta understand is that our reality is our reality because of the decisions that we have made. Our reality is the outcome of the decisions that we have made from the past. Okay, this is delayed gratification. So whatever that we were thinking, or whatever actions that we took, all the fruits of our labor would only come at our current reality, which is few months down the road, few weeks down the road, few hours down the road, few days down the road, few years down the road. Right? So whatever that you're building right now, you would see the results of it at a later part. Okay, so this is delayed gratification. It's just, I feel like it's just a law of universe and how things work in general. So what I want to say is that if you think about it this way, and if you like have this mindset and this mentality, you have the ability to change the way you think now. You have the ability to slowly gear towards a life that you truly enjoy, that you truly love, that you feel that you're gonna be successful in whatever success looks like for you. Successful doesn't mean to be like to be wealthy, or to own a car, to own a house, to own, like, I don't know, private jets and shit like that. What true wealth is happiness. Is happiness within, is peace within. That's at least for me. Because yes, we can all chase like after materialistic stuff or after wealth. Of course, we need money to survive. But what I want to say is that the true wealth and the true fulfillment and the true satisfaction is when you start to find peace within yourself, and when you start to feel so damn proud of yourself that you're able to sit down, smile, and be like, I'm so glad that I was born into this family. I was born into these circumstances because it's made me who I am today. It has made me so much stronger, and I thank every single one of the obstacles and all the failures that I have faced, because without them I won't be able to learn lessons, like amazing lessons like that. At least for me, that's what I think. Because without all the circumstances, without all the tough situations that I face in life, I won't be able to sit here and share these stories with you. Right? I'll probably still be living life, I don't know, like in a very ignorant mentality, because I feel like everything is just roses and butterflies and rainbows and just a pretty garden. But like I mentioned in the previous few episodes of this podcast, there's duality of life. Where I talked about losses and gains. There is also like happiness and sadness. Without sadness, you won't be able to know and be grateful for your happy times, right? So I feel like life is really interesting. It's an amazing thing. We're the fact that we're able to live and breathe and really just enjoy life and really live this life on our own terms, it's amazing. Like, I want to always say that take every single opportunity that you have to live and go after what you want. Like, please, oh my god, for the love of god, please chase after the things that you want to do, even though if it means like taking little steps. Every single day, that little step will mount into something bigger, and you will only see it few months down the road, few years down the road, few weeks down the road. Okay, little bit by little bit. Because I always believe that, especially if you're like me and you were so impatient before that, you realize that you start thinking that, oh, I don't see the results right now. I don't see it immediately. So it means it's not working. But when you start to really let go, and when you start to put on this mindset of like, things are happening for me, it's happening for a reason, I just have to go with it. I just have to go with the flow of it. And I know that if I were to face obstacles or failures, it means that there's a lesson learned. I actually get excited when I don't get what I want, because I know it's this or better. When you start having this mindset of it's this or better, that the universe will always give you what you want. And if it doesn't, means you're not ready yet, or it's coming, something better is coming. I always tell myself, it's always this or better, it's always this or better. So when you have this mindset, you really start to lose a lot of control, and you start to tell yourself that you start to really enjoy the process of life, and you slow down. When you slow down, you really start to see the beauty in life. It's just like how when we start traveling out of our own country, and we're able to see life in a really different lens. We start to appreciate nature a little bit more. We start to notice little things in life. And with that, we are so grateful for it. Practice gratitude. I think gratitude is one thing that I really found like helpful for me. I would always wake up in the morning and I would be grateful for little things in life. Just things like being able to have access to water, or being able to even wake up to a new day, to start my day, to make choices throughout the day. Or little things like I'm appreciative that I get to chase after my dreams. I get to record this podcast. I get to have thoughts that come in every single day, every single minute, that I'm able to write down and share with you guys. And having things that you can call your own and having access to so much stuff, because I believe that if you're looking at this and if you are even able to get access to this video, I would say that you have access to a lot of things in this world, a lot of things on the internet, and we should be really, really grateful for that. Grateful for my dog, I'm grateful for my parents, I'm grateful for the job that I have, the money that I have, the money that is coming in, the abundant mindset I have, the mindset that I have, the lessons that I learned. I think there's so much, so much to be grateful for. We are just not allowing ourselves to take it slow and look at what we're grateful at and really soak it in, because we are always on this go 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 mentality. So for this episode, I just want to end it by saying, ask yourself, what is it that you are really, really um grateful for? What is it that you're holding on to for the longest period of your time that is no longer serving you? I think this is your sign to let it go, to allow yourself to just release control and walk through it. Because I think what I found the best for myself, if let's just say you have this problem of, being overly controlling, or just really just struggling in life, and you're like, what the heck, like I just want to get out of this period. And like, when you see someone living the best life, or when you see someone talking about how they manifest certain things, I would say that know that it's their life and it's gonna be different for yours. Okay, that it's different for so many people, because I used to compare my life with the rest, and I feel like everyone else does it. But I just want to say that comparison kills. Comparing yourself to others really kills your happiness. So know that we're all on our journey of figuring out our lives. You have your own journey, I have my own, and your journey may be faster, my journey may be faster, or your journey may be slower. Whatever it is, just know that when you look at someone, know that they're only showing you a part of it, especially when it's on social media. They're not showing you the full parts. Like even right now, when I'm talking about it, I can tell you that previous own, like I'm still struggling with certain things in life. I'm still struggling to work towards what I really do enjoy. But in this moment, I told myself to let go, to know that everything's not gonna be perfect. Like even for this podcast, it's not perfect, but I'm not gonna edit anything because it is the rawest version of me, and I promise to deliver only the rawest version and the honest truth of life, of my life at least. And I hope that through all these different lessons that I've learned, and all the stories that I will be telling you on this podcast, that you'll be able to relate or even learn a thing or two. So that's just my like thoughts on starting this podcast, and just especially on this topic of the story that you're telling yourself. And whatever that you're holding on to, if it's no longer serving you, please, please, please let it go. Take some time to grieve over it, whether it's a person that you need to let go of, whether it's a mindset, whether it's a story that you've been telling yourself. One most common story I think we tell ourselves is that I wasn't born into a rich family, or rather I'm not capable enough, or I have this, I have that, I have a job, I have a 9 to 5 job, so I can't chase after my passion. That's bull, because right now I have a 9 to 5 job and I'm chasing this. It's currently 9:52 p.m. I got home at 8 p.m. from work, and I'm so fired up to record this podcast because I know it's exactly what my heart desires. It's exactly what fuels my heart. So find that thing that fuels your heart. Find the thing that really gets you so excited that you literally lost track of time, because you are so in love with what you do. Okay, you have it in you. You just have to take the time to open yourself up to this mindset, open yourself up to receiving it. Then the universe will deliver it for you. Okay, because if you don't believe in a higher power, or if you don't believe in the universe, just know that you have the capability within you, within yourself, to overcome whatever they're overcoming. Okay, so I would say that, before I leave, I might just drop in a little clip of the downloads that I was having, because I feel like that was so much more intense as compared to right now. Because prior to me recording this, like few hours back at around 6:37, I had this, like I was mentioning, like I had this crazy excitement that I don't know, like it came out of nowhere, and I just felt like I needed to take out my phone and start recording and start talking. Because yeah, those I like to call are my downloads, are the lessons that are transmitting through me. And I recorded, I think, 20 minutes about of it. So I'm gonna just drop that clip here before I end, and hopefully you guys will be able to feel that energy and gain more and just, close this chapter of your life, of, all the excuses that you've been telling yourself, all the stories that you've been telling yourself. And yeah, if you're defensive about it, if you're angry and upset about whatever that I've just said, I'm just so glad that you stayed till this to the end and sit with it. Let yourself sit with it. I don't need you to agree with me. I'm not here to tell you how to change your life again. I'm not here to teach you how you should live your life, because I'm no one to teach you. I'm still figuring my life out, and I'm just telling you what I've done and what I've found worked best for me. And I just hope that you'll be able to be open-minded and live life the way you want it to be, because trust me, you're going to be so much more happier. You won't be hating on the people that are living their best life, or at least they are showing that they are living their best life, because you can do it too. Okay, it's our birthright to live the life that we want to live, to chase after the dreams that we want to chase, to have the desires that we have. Okay, don't be like upset, or don't be afraid of chasing after it, because it is really our birthright. Okay, and we are entitled to it. So this is where the entitlement comes in. You're entitled to having feelings, you're entitled to having your own thoughts and mindset, just like how I'm entitled to have my own. So yeah, I just want to say that I'm so glad for the people that is loving An Honest Entry and is loving our life seasons. I'm so glad that um I am receiving so much overwhelming responses as to how this advice may be, suitable for someone at the stage, and that they needed to hear this right now. I'm so glad that it has reached you, because my goal has completed. I've accomplished my goal if this reaches you at the time that you need it. And I just hope that you know that you're not alone, that I'm here with you as well, going through life, and we're all in this together. And yeah, I just want this podcast to be a podcast whereby I'm sharing my stories, and we're having this conversation as if it's a FaceTime, as if, like we're besties, and we are just vibing on the same frequency. I don't know where this is gonna go. So if you're watching this right now and it's only our 7th or 8th episode, I'm just so glad that we're on this at the very beginning, that we're all growing and learning together, because I'm so sure that as time passes, as these episodes grow and as this podcast grow, I believe that there are so much more that I'm gonna share. When I look back, I know for sure that when I look back at this in 2025, 2035, I don't know, 2050, that I know that this little girl here, this 24-year-old, is having so much fun in her life, and it's really healing. And I'm just so happy that I'm able to, have this confidence and have this guts and have this audacity to sit here and share with you my life stories and my lessons. And I know that it's going to help the people that needs it, even if it's just 1%, 2%. I'm just really grateful that you're even watching this or even hearing this. So just know that you're not alone. And yeah, so I'm gonna play the clip that I've recorded previously, impromptu, prior to this. So yeah, other than that, I just hope that you have the best time of your life, and you go out there and chase after the dreams that you want to chase after the goals that you want to chase after. This is your sign to really do that. And thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. Hi. Okay, I'm back again. It's the 31st of July, so it's coming to the end of a month, starting August, and August onwards is it's where I start traveling. Okay, I don't know why, but my heart is like beating so fast right now. I don't know how to feel. Like I really, oh my god, I'm like literally catching my breath, and I just wanted to, I don't know, record this for whatever reason. I feel like one day I'm probably gonna look back at this and be like, oh my god, like you don't even know what's coming, because that's exactly how I feel right now. Yeah, my my heart is just beating so fast. Anyways, I just glanced at the timer and it's 44. So 44 is my angel number, and I have been seeing so many 44s again, and I've been seeing it for months, like 2 months now. And I would say that, I don't know, I just feel so blessed and so happy to be where I am now, even though I know there's so much more that I want to accomplish. But I just yeah, I'm just so excited, and I can feel, I don't know how to explain this feeling, but I can feel it in my body that better things are coming, that I know that a major shift is coming. I just feel it with my gut, and I'm so patient. I'm waiting so patiently for that moment to hit. And yeah, because I feel like the reason why, or how I justify this is, last week one of the posts in An Honest Entry blew up. I didn't know like it was gonna blow up, because it's very funny, because at that point in time I was already kinda, I wouldn't say dread, but I was already, An Honest Entry, the postings that I post every single day became autopilot. Like, I didn't really think much about it. I just post whatever I feel like posting in the morning. And it was to a point where I start to think whether or not, is it because I've lost interest in An Honest Entry, or was it being like a hassle? Like, I skipped 2 days not posting the weekends because I just feel like resting, I think. And then all of a sudden, when I logged into, I remember this day so clearly, I logged into An Honest Entry's like TikTok on Monday because I wanted to post it. It's just like a routine. And I saw like a lot of like notifications, and I was like, no way, like there must be a glitch. I remember thinking so clearly that this was a glitch, like there has to be some sort of glitch, because An Honest Entry has never hit more than like 200 views. I mean, the highest that we got was 12k plays on Instagram, and then it just kind of died down. It was just like, yeah, stagnant. And I realized that I actually kind of let go of the outcome. Like, I don't really care how many people are viewing it. I don't really care how many people actually like it. Like, I was posting it for myself. I was posting it because those were the words that I needed to hear, and those were the words that helped me go through what I went through. So yeah, so I'm like so shocked that I had so much notifications, and when I looked at it, right, there was just so many comments and likes and follows, and yeah, like the whole entire post was just going insane, and I was so shocked that I was just so shocked that, yeah, it literally went there. So when I checked the comments, I remember seeing that there were a lot of people that were disagreeing with what I said. So this was a test of, I would say, my mindset, my mentality on its own, and it was testing what I was saying. So the post, right, was actually about not, also, if you're at the best advice that I have at age of 24, that I heard at the age of 24, that was given to me at the age of 24, is that, you know, you don't have any commitments right now. So why are you trying to live like a 30-year-old with commitments? And like, so chase, I think at the point of time it was like chase after, the whole purpose of it was to encourage myself to chase after the dreams and to release control and to let go of, you know, the need for a certain outcome, because I've always been someone that is really hard up on the outcome, and I want things to work out a certain way, and if it doesn't, then I don't think it's gonna work out for me. So that was the mentality that I have, and I was so hard on myself. Every single one that knows me, they will always tell me that I think you're really hard on yourself. I think it's 0444 but yeah, like, I think you're so hard on yourself. I feel like, you know, you should loosen up a little bit. And loosening up was never my thing. I don't know, I just feel like loosening up was never my thing, and I was always so hard on certain things. So when I posted that, I didn't, like, it was what I had in mind was just to loosen up, right? But I think that whole entire short paragraph didn't have any context. So people were going crazy about how it's the worst advice that they hear, because at the age of 24, some people may have commitments, and, you know, they have parents that they need to raise, they have siblings that they need to take care of, which I get it. Like, I totally understand, and I understand where they are coming from, just as, you know, someone who's looking at this content and think like, what the heck, like, what if I have commitments, so this is not for me. So when I saw tons of comments like that, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my god, with viral stuff, like with fame per se, there comes like consequences in terms of, you know, now that my content is being blown up, there are a lot of people who's gonna give their own 2 cents in their comments. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just feel like it messes with my mind a little bit, because then I was a little scared at that point. I was so scared that, oh my god, where is this gonna go? Like, I don't want An Honest Entry to be known as, to have bad rep. So I didn't expect it to go that way. But what turned out, to went viral was something that I didn't expect at all, because there are certain content that I put on an honest entry. I thought that it was quite well written, if I were to say so myself. But it didn't hit. And then this was the one that I just posted mindlessly and it hit. And I was like, wait, what? So I feel like, yeah, I mean, commitments. So I literally sat down with myself and I was like, you know what? Like, I send out so much love to the people that have commitments, to the people who are not able to, easily chase after their dream life because of their circumstances. I totally get it. I understand. Though I may not come from a low income family, I am a middle class. I come from a middle class family, but I understand where it came from, because my parents were literally like those people. They were under those circumstances, and I've seen them build a family, and I've seen them build their wealth to where it is now. And I really believe that it's a lot on like the mindset, and it's a lot on I'm so scared to even say this right now, but I mean, I just want to speak my mind. So I feel like this is a lot on like mindset, because we always give ourselves excuses as to what we can do and what we can't do, and we keep and hold on to the stories that we choose to tell ourselves like forever. We feel like, if you're born into a poor family, or rather environment that is not as conducive, then we can't live the life that we want to live, or we can't chase after the dreams that we want to, and then we use these circumstances as an excuse. It becomes an excuse. Like, I do get it, it's the reality, yes, but I believe that it's just a tweak of mindset. It's just a shift of certain things that you can actually change the way you view life. That's just my perspective, because I feel like mindset wise is very important. The only control that we have in life, even though we may feel like, oh no, we're not able to control the circumstances that we are born into, I feel like the only thing that we can control is our mind. We still have control over our mind, no matter where you're from or what circumstances you're in. That is what I truly believe. That is why I wrote what I wrote, and say that, you don't have commitments. But if you have commitment, it doesn't mean that you can't live your life. It's just that it's gonna be tougher, it's gonna be longer. But I also respect the people that push through life because of their commitments. Like, they are so much stronger because of their greed to chase after their dreams. I think those are the people that I respect the most. And the difference between people who, we often hear a lot of success stories about, how successful entrepreneurs or successful people actually do suffer or were at their lowest before they hit the jackpot, before they became famous, before they became successful, before something works. I think it's a build up of their greed, a build up of, that switch of mentality that allows them to start to appreciate the little things in life and start to push themselves forward. And those people that do not per se, like, do not move in life, or open inverted unsuccessful, or deemed as unsuccessful, is because they complain and they blame their circumstances. It's never their problem. It's never something that they can control. It's, like, I'm born into this, so it is what it is. They have this mentality of it is what it is, and I feel like this really drags them down. No hate, no, I'm not saying that everyone, like, life is the same, or it's, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, because all I'm trying to say is that, honestly, if you are in a circumstance, or if you're listening to this and you start to feel like I don't know, if you start to feel that you don't understand my circumstance, I'm not able to do this and that, I'm not able to blah blah blah, I want you to realize and catch yourself that these are just the story that you choose to tell yourself over and over again. At a point in time, like, there will come a point in time where you'll get tired of your excuses. You'll get tired of blaming people, blaming whoever it is, like blaming your parents for not being more ambitious. Because I used to be like that. I used to be at a stage where I started blaming people around me for not being at their best, so that I can actually tap into their wealth, or tap into their success. Like, I used to think that, oh, if my parents were to have this entrepreneur mindset, if my parents were to have a business or to start a business back then, I would have an easier life. I know it's a very shitty and very messed up mindset to have, but it's the truth. It was the mindset that I had in time back few months back, few years back, because that was the easiest way. That was the easiest route that I could take. And I feel like all of us are just trying to find the easiest route, which is not wrong. Like, of course we want things fast, right? Because there's so much, especially that's why Grab or Uber or Lyft, they do so well because everything is an instant. Like Amazon Prime, everything comes in an instant, and we are so used to this that we feel like life should be like that. Everything in life should be instant gratification. I feel like that's not the fact. Like, we cannot expect things to happen, especially things in life, to happen immediately, because it's just not how life works. And I believe that everything in life happens for a reason. There's a reason why you're in this certain situation. There's a reason why you're born into a situation like that. It is what we make out of life, and not like what life throws at us. You know, it's not what we are born into. It's more about what we make out of it. So there are people who are really rich, who are born into rich families, but they are not able to make it. They are constantly unhappy because they just don't know how to handle their mind, and their mindset is not capable enough. It's not built on a strong foundation enough for them to be able to handle huge amount of wealth, or huge amount of, like, you know, possession. I feel like that's the thing that is different. Whereas people who were born in a not so affluent family, they are the ones that are really, 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 like, hardworking. They're the ones that really, you know, push through life and make it, because it's really the difference in mindset. I feel like mindset is everything. Like, I will mention this again and again. You can always control your mind, but you can't control your circumstances. You can't control the things that you face in life. Yes, to a certain extent you can, but there are just things that happen to you for a reason. And sometimes it gets you wondering, like, why did it happen that way? Why this happened to me? And I feel like, yeah, it is what it is. It is life. And yeah, my heart is like beating so fast right now, because I really say this from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that, you know, the people who, you know, in the future have a chance to hear this, you'll be able to understand where I'm coming from. And I know the first glance, the first thought that comes to your mind will be, oh my god, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, she's just lucky. You can label me as being lucky, born in a middle class family, but I have been through enough in life to know that everything that I've gone through, that everything that I was able to come out of, was because of the mindset that I have, was because of the fact that I wanted, and I know the power of our mind, I know the power of my thoughts, the story that I tell myself. Because if you spend 25 years of your life, 30 years of your life, 40 years of your life telling yourself that you are not capable enough to be successful, that you are not meant to be successful because of XYZ, or because of certain people, you're really robbing yourself and robbing people of your talent and your capabilities, things that you were born to have, but not others. Because what you can do, or what I would say to people who are who really have circumstances that are not, you know, or commitments that they are not able to change easily, or they are not able to get out of, which is totally understandable and totally normal, is that to try to really change your mindset, to see every single day what are you telling yourself, to be conscious about what you're telling yourself, and setting an intention to actually want to change the way you think, to want to change your life. Because when you have that spark, and when you decide that you are the one that is controlling your thoughts, you are the one that is controlling your life, things will start happening for you. And you will realize that you are so much more grateful for the little things in life, for the negative things, open inverted negative things that happen to you. You'll start to see how these circumstances that you're put in is actually a test for you to improve, and a test for you to be able to see how much you've grown. Because we grow through tough times, we really do. Because if you think about it in life, if everything is just, you know, flowers and rainbows and, you know, just happy vibes, we will never be able to know what is negativity. We will never be able to know what is sadness, right? It's a duality of life. That's why in the past few episodes I did talk about, you know, the duality of life and how it plays out and how it works. And I hone in to one topic, which is losses versus gains. But another part of duality of life is, you know, negative and positive, like happiness and sadness. So I would say that, yeah, like, we really gotta understand that if you start to take control of your mind and not let things control you, that you have the power to control no matter what circumstances you're born into. Everyone it's like our birthright. Everyone is given this opportunity to actually change the way we think, to change our lives via our thoughts, because our thoughts will turn into actions, and actions is reflected in our reality. It will change our reality. So in for example, if let's just say you're born into, you know, a family whereby you need to take care of like your siblings, or you need to take care of your parents who are getting old, and that's the story that you've been constantly telling yourself. Because of this, I'm not able to chase after my dreams. Because of this, I'm not qualified to have a desire. I'm not even able to dream. Then I would say that you would forever be living the life that you feel like you need to, or you should live, or what others tell you, you know, that, oh, you have commitments, you can't do this, and you'll be like, yeah, I can't. So that is like, we oftentimes we take on people's limiting belief, and we take on people's stories because of just, you know, the 5 people that we surround ourselves with are like the reflection of who you actually are, right? So I think growing up, you know, you would probably hear from your parents that, oh, we can't afford to do this, we can't afford to do that because we are poor, we can't afford to do this because we can't afford to do that because we have commitments that just doesn't allow that. And as at the age of, you know, 5 onwards or 7 onwards, you've been taking on this story, and it's just natural. It's natural for us to take on this story and just carry on living the life, because we don't know any better. But when you start to open your mind up to self-help books or self-help podcasts like this, or just just open up your mind to the world and to the possibilities and be able to accept it, then I would say that, you know, you will realize that it's possible. It is possible. And that's also the reason why you would hear that successful people are successful because of the story that they choose to tell themselves. You always hear that they will tell you that, I choose to not believe my reality. I choose to not. You can call it delusional for all you want. And I get it. It might seem a little delusional. But if being delusional means that I get to live the life that I want to live, I get to chase after my dreams and not regret, even if it fails or even if it falls, then I would say that you've lived a life that is so, so, so beautiful. A life that not everyone can live, because you have the courage. You have the courage to chase after what you want. So have that mentality, and I can tell you this, that mentality is going to bring you really, really far, because not everyone has that mentality. And that's also because, like, that's also the reason why a lot of people are still stuck in this loop of negativity of, I'm born into this circumstances and I won't be able to change it, so I won't be able to chase after my dreams, and I would die, you know, being in the same circumstances. But the truth is that we can always, like I mentioned a lot of times, we can always change our mentality. It's just the matter of whether or not you want to or not. And it hurts and it frustrates a lot of people when I say this, because it means that you have to take responsibility. And I know this because I'm human as well, that I don't want to, certain times it's so uncomfortable for me to think that I need to take action and I need to be the one that is responsible for my life. I can't blame anyone. It is my life and I have full control. It scares me. So we often, because it scares me and it scares a lot of other people, we tell ourselves that, you know what, it's something that I can't control. There's nothing that I can do. But it is not. We all know deep down that this is something that we can change, and we can control our mind. We can control the things that we tell ourselves. We can control our thoughts. We can control our actions. Everything is within our control if we want to. We always feel like things are not within our control because we don't want to control it. Because we know that if we start to tell ourselves that we can control it, we need to do something. We need to take action. And taking action means that we need to get out of our comfort zone and go into a territory that is so, so, so unknown to us, that it's so scary. That's why we have fear, right? But I always believe that, you know, we can't always get rid of fear, but we can choose to walk with fear, because fear will always be with us. Fear will always be there. How I read this book before, and it really changed my mind on how I view fear. The author said that, you know, fear will always be there, right? Just think of it as fear being, you know, like the baby at the back seat of a car, right? You can tell the baby that, you know, or the toddler or whoever it is, that, you know, I'm gonna be the one leading. My heart and me, we're gonna be the one that's leading this journey. You can have your opinions, you can be fearful, you can warn us about danger, but just know that, you know, we appreciate you being there, trying to keep us safe, but we know what we are doing. So I think when you make this shift and when you see fear in that way, a lot of things, you know, just release. You won't feel, you know, you will do a lot of things and you would start to think that, you know what, fear is normal. You're not unique, or you're not like weird for having fears. But I think a lot of times people just stop at fear. You know, we get so afraid that we just don't want to take action, and that's when things just become stagnant, because nothing changes when nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So the first step is always the hardest. I understand that the first step is always the hardest, but once you take the first step to decide, to set an intention that you want to change the way you think, you want to change the way you tell yourselves, you want to start changing, you know, the things that has not been working for you, it's when change really start happening. Then you realize that the people around you start to take in your energy, they start to absorb, you know, the positivity that you give out, and that's when they change too. And you'll be really surprised, because I have, you know, experience with this so many times, that when I start changing a certain mindset, when I start changing the way I view certain things, the people around me start to take on that part of me. You know, they start to take on this positivity, and yeah, things just works for the better. So I would say that that's how I feel when I saw the comments, tons and tons of comments on how the advice is not for them because of XYZ, because of whatever reasons that they have, which is valid. But all I want to say is that I'm not here to change your life, or I'm not here to change the way you think. Because if after this you want to think the same way, or you want to continue the way that, you know, life has been working out for you, by all means go ahead. I just want to share my opinion and what my thoughts on that, and just clarify, like, you know, the things that I wrote in an honest entry. So I know this is a total separate thing, but yeah, I just want to say that I'm super grateful for where I am today, and I know that I'm still on the journey of healing, growing, learning, and I'll never stop learning, I'll never stop sharing, because yeah, I truly believe that whatever that I've learned, I'm meant to share it with people around me and whoever that I can share with. So yeah, whoever that's willing to listen, honestly. So yeah, I'm just so excited. I just feel like I needed to hop on just to talk about this, because it's gonna be one of the episodes that I'll be talking about today, and I just feel, you know, like this download that I have, and this calling to just, yeah, on my camera and just talk about it, because I don't want all this to go away. So yeah, I feel so much better, like a weight lifted off my chest. But I can't wait to see where this is gonna take me, because I do see, you know, results from a lot of things, and I believe 100% that, you know, things are gonna work out for me. Things has been working out for me and have been working out for me, and I just fully trust, and I can't be happier. Like, honestly, I really can't be happier, you know, with where I am right now. So I have more dreams to chase, I have bigger goals, definitely, but the difference is that I don't put pressure on myself anymore, because I know that I'm only 24, or no matter how old you are, you still have time. It's not about what you do, but it's about who you are when you're doing it. It's about how you live your life, how you choose to live your life, how you want to live your life, whether or not you want to chase after your dreams, or whether or not you want to just, you know, let it be there. There's no right or wrong. I really feel like there's no right or wrong. It's just how, yeah, it's just how you want to live your life, and how you want to be at the point where, you know, your life is ending, this phase of life is ending, and you're looking back and ask yourself whether or not you regret. Because I don't want to look back and be like, oh, I should have done that, I regretted not doing this. You know, I always imagine it as like, when I reach the end stage of my life, the end cycle of this lifetime, there will be a video that's played, you know, showing me how my life could have been if I were to chase after my dreams, how my life was meant to be, the purpose of my life. And I don't want to look at that video and be like, oh my god, so that was what life was. That was what life was meant to be, and I did not go anywhere near it because I was too afraid, or I was too scared for whatever reason, and I don't want that to happen to anybody. So that's why I'm trying my best to, tell the people around me to just go for it, to really just go for whatever that you want to go for. Like, stop the excuses, stop the story, cut it off, and just, go on. Even there will be a lot of people that are gonna laugh at you, there will be a lot of people that are gonna tell you it's impossible, but trust me, it's gonna be worth it. When you look back and you yourself know that you did not regret a single bit, you've done it. You're living as close to your dream life as possible. You're living as close to, what you're meant to do on this lifetime. And then, yeah, you'll just be so much happier and so much more like knowing that, I did it. Like, I'm so close to what life was meant for me. Because every time you chase after that little inkling of that little passion, of that little excitement, you're a step closer. Whenever you chase your desires, you're a little step closer to where you need to be. And I always believe that, where we are placed in life is where we're meant to be. Everything happens for a reason, and the universe delays are not the universe denials. I always believe that, and it's one of the mantra that I really, really love. And I always tell myself, and it really helps me to calm myself down whenever I start to feel like, oh my god, I'm so frantic, and so I would say that, I'm really, 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 really hoping that this changes at least a handful of you to really start living life and looking at life differently, looking at the things that, is happening, that you deem as happening to you, and change your choice of words that it's happening for you. Because when you start changing words, you realize that your energy starts changing and shifting as well. So I think that's all I have to say for now, and yeah, I'm just really, really excited to see what's coming for me and for you. And yeah, like, I replied to every single comment in an honest entry, and I really send love to so many of them. Like, from the bottom of my heart, I really wish that people could be more aware that, you can change you can change your mind. You can't change your circumstances, but you can change your mind, which in return will slowly change your circumstances. And it's gonna be a really tough journey. It's never easy stepping out of your comfort zone, but it's totally worth it. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. So bye.